Alright, so what's up guys? So we are out here on another run. Out here running, juggling, doing this crazy nonsense for all of you to enjoy and consume. So, without further ado, we will go into the topic of today's video, and that is of living a spectacular life, right? One that you could either deem successful or right, or simply a desirable one, right? So, although it can vary quite greatly from person to person, there is a general gist of it, right? You get the gist. It's how to get the life that you want, right? In a spectacular fashion, right? For some it could be a lot of money, for others it could be getting super famous, for others it could be donating, and trying to end world hunger, right? So, regardless of what your goals and ambitions are, particular, there's certain tips that you may want to take into account, right, in regards to living that spectacular life. So, for you, we will go into the first tip in regards to living that spectacular life, and that is to, grow, right? Contain a growth mindset, right? Be a person, who's always trying to get better, right? To improve the situation. Because I don't know about you, and we were dropping for some reason, and the voice is cracking. It's all good. But, as Tony Robbins says, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? So, for you, you got to think about that, right? Think, about ways to grow, right? To instill change in the positive direction, because change is not enough, right? It's supposed to be change what you want to do, and God forbid you don't want to change in the opposite direction, right? Going against what you want, right? Because if you got to go north and you're walking south, then that's a problem. So for you, figure out ways to grow and get better, right? And be like a plant, right? And grow and get taller, right? And spread out more leaves and more fruits, right? To give to other human beings, right? Because, that's what a tree does, right? Because how good would a tree be if it stopped growing, right? If it stayed at that same level its whole period of existence, right? That's the whole purpose of a tree, right? It's to grow, it's to expand, it's to take up more room and give it more of a grounding in the earth, right? So for you, as you work on yourself and get better, you are going to become more grounded in a sense, right? You're going to know yourself better. You're going to know what you like, what you're good at, and you're going to keep doing it, because for you it would be the best, right? To provide you the best outcome, hopefully a spectacular one. So for you, you might want to think about other ways to be spectacular, right? Or to do spectacular things. And like we mentioned of the example of the tree right there, right? How it not only grows, but it sprouts out fruit, right? That fruit, is there for other people to take in and enjoy. And it goes back to the whole concept of giving, right? Giving back to other people. Because once you made it, how good is it just to be, I would say selfish in a sense, right? A hedonistic version of life, like one where it's all about you. And while that may be good, right, and becoming aware of yourself, right, and what makes you happy, what you're good at, what you're not, what you need to do, and so forth, but you got to think about the rest of the world and how are you going to leave an impact on it, right? And a way you can do that is through donating, right, to whoever you need to give to, right? Whichever charity you prefer. For some, it could be, you know, creating little league sports teams. For others, you know, it could be curing, you know, horrible diseases that afflict us. So, you know, whatever it is, you got to figure out, you know, how exactly you can get back, because that is one of the greatest things you can do in this life, especially for your mental health, right? And feeling good about you and what are you doing. So yeah, so take that in, right? Learn how to give, right? And I'm trying to think of the word for a almost professional giver, right? If you've ever heard of those people, right? Those hugely successful entrepreneurs and, you know, businessmen and women, right, who are able to donate vast amounts of money and property and, you know, give back immensely to their communities, which is awesome. It's good. And, you know, for you, that's a hint, right? As so far as what you want to do to have a spectacular life. And, you know, without further ado, we will go into tip number 3 as far as living spectacularly, because, you know, for that, there's a certain mindset that you have to, you know, take in and go through and think about. Because I don't know about you, but, you know, when you simply chase, you know, the end result, right, you can simply forget to be, right? And when you are simply being, you are free from the outcome. You are not worried about how much you're gonna make this year, whether or not you're gonna get that raise or that new job and so forth. You're simply a man or a woman in the current moment, and that's exactly what you are. And oftentimes people can easily forget that, right? They can get lost in the fray, lost, you know, in all the stresses that may present themselves. So, you know, for you, you gotta figure out, you know, how to simply just live in the moment and be present, right? And enjoy it, because you're never gonna get this day ever again, right? You're never gonna get this moment in your life. Today is only given once, right? We can't go back to, you know, December 20th, 2019. It's already passed, just to name a random date. And so for you, you know, you can think about that, right? Today is May 17th, 2021. This is the day we film this. And, you know, I'm never gonna get that day again, right? And whatever time it is now, right? It's like around 6. So, no, it's never gonna be this situation again, right? I'm never gonna be, you know, simply a guy on the street running in the same time frame forever. So knowing that, you know, I have to, you know, take advantage of my life, right? I gotta squeeze the lemon, you know, that is my life, and, you know, extract the juices, right? Extract the useful, you know, components of it. Because, you know, if you look closely enough, they're there, right? You can't simply just wander about aimlessly and not understand what's going on and the totality, you know, of your situation. So, you know, for you, take that in, right? Use that, and we will go into tip number 4 to live a spectacular life, and that is to essentially focus on your mental health, right? Make it a priority, right? Over anything, right? Over money, over fame, over success, right? How much of a success are you, in essence, if you mentally are a failure, right? Because if you don't have that figured out, if you're not happy at the end of the day, then, you know, essentially you failed, right? It's not good. Because what is all that success? You know, it's almost for nothing, right? Many of the great legends, especially in Hollywood and, you know, the business world and so forth, right? They have all this money and fame, and, you know, so many people love them and adore them, And you know, wherever they go, they have screaming fans and people that, you know, admire them. But you know, what good was that in the end? Because you know, that person was unhappy. It wasn't enough for them. They were always seeking more and more and more of that same drug, right? That same money and fame, because it was never enough for them. And you know, for you, especially in this day and age where we have, you know, social media, we have, you know, all these different outlets and a bunch of people chasing attention, right? Because that's what it is at the end of the day, is they're hungry for people to notice them. And you know, for you got to figure out, you know, how to use these platforms, right? If you still want to use them, but not worry so much about the likes and all the BS that may present itself. So, you know, you figure that out, right? Don't get caught up in all the BS, right, that's going on. The, you know, attention whoreism of the world, right? The whole narcissistic me nature. So, right, and you know, you taking in these 4 tips will hopefully live a spectacular life, right? And you know, live long and live happy and live well, because that's what it's all about. So, you know, as always, we say thank you for watching and goodbye.